I mean, it's not like I hate you or anything.
Kengan Ashura is a story about fighting, and there is a sex scene in the first episode. I am confident that no one questions it because it fits with the tone.
I really want to have your children.
But sex can be used to symbolize larger themes in a story.
Where to, miss?
To the stars.
In Titanic, Rose boards the ship because she is going to Philadelphia to marry her fiancé. Rose doesn't like her fiancé, but Rose is released from the pressures of wealth and status by Jack, who shows her the freedom of the lower class. So when Rose has sex with Jack, the scene symbolizes her freedom in the face of societal pressures. In Kengan Ashura, the scene symbolizes weakness. Kazuo Yamashita finds two men fighting in an alleyway. One of them appears stronger than the other, but Kazuo is released from his perception of reality by Oma Tokita. After being asked if he would like to fight, Kazuo is overwhelmed by Oma's presence and refuses. Following his encounter with Oma, Kazuo sleeps with a prostitute. Recognizing a threat to his life, Kazuo is driven to reproduce because he feels vulnerable. Kazuo is a middle-aged man who is bullied by a medium-level executive, who is isolated from his son Kenzo, and who was abandoned by his wife for unknown reasons. But Kazuo's world is turned upside down when he becomes Oma's manager. Oma represents the company that Kazuo works for by fighting in the Kengan Association, an underground fighting organization that settles business disputes between corporations through the outcome of fights. These fights are especially violent because there are no rules or regulations. During a tournament to decide the next chairman of the Kengan Association, Kazuo learns that his son is the head of a company that participates in the tournament by using a surrogate to represent him. The Kure clan, a clan of assassins who represent Kenzo's company, feels betrayed by Kenzo's deception. So, if they win their next match against Oma, they will assassinate Kenzo. Ultimately, Kenzo is spared because Oma wins. Nevertheless, Kazuo confronts the leader of the clan and blackmails them into never harming him or his children ever again. Through the introduction and development of Kazuo's character, Kengan Ashura gives a more nuanced representation of sex. Stories about fighting have themes of power. In these types of stories, sex can symbolize power. In Baki, Baki Hanma is a teenager who fights in an underground arena to defeat his father, Yujiro Hanma. Yujiro is the strongest creature on Earth. So, when Baki is about to sleep with his girlfriend, Yujiro interrupts them because they can do nothing about it. As his father, Yujiro tells Baki to have more sex because it will make him stronger.
If you want to get stronger, do it. Morning, noon, and night, do it. Before and after every meal, do it. Do it till your body aches. Do it till you can't stand up straight. Do it till you're sick of it. Then do it some more.
In a fight, a fighter is expected to dominate their opponent. In his romantic relationship, Baki is expected to sexually dominate his partner. So, sex prepares Baki for the real thing. In Kengan Ashura, Kazuo is not a fighter, so sex takes on a different meaning. Kazuo is a straight suitor who bows to authority because he is weak. Kazuo does not sleep with prostitutes because society would never approve. So, when Kazuo sleeps with a prostitute, it would be uncomfortable because he is fighting against authority. During sex, a man and a woman are vulnerable because they are both exposed to an uncomfortable situation. Even for a man, sex can be a traumatic experience. But by sleeping with a prostitute, Kazuo prepared himself to participate in the Kengan Association because he became more desensitized to traumatic situations. In the manga, Kazuo becomes less sensitive to the dangers present in his ordinary life, and despite his despair, he had enough composure to help Oma defeat Rei and Kuri by figuring out his weakness. Following the sequel, Kazuo becomes more level-headed, coldly discouraging Koga Narashima from fighting in the Kengan Association and making critical decisions to lead his team of fighters against Purgatory. Also, Kazuo becomes more responsible. Sex creates responsibilities because children are difficult to raise. But serving his role as a father by protecting his children, Kazuo successfully fulfills the responsibilities which follow sex. In the manga, Kazuo serves his role as a father by allowing Oma to continue fighting in the Annihilation Tournament because he wants to support his interests. In the sequel, Kazuo continues to serve his role as a father, protecting Oma and Gaoryuki from the Connector by making a deal with him. Compared to Kengan Ashura, Baki doesn't do anything wrong. Baki is a young character who is destined to fight Yujiro. So, the way sex can shape Baki's character is by preparing him to face Yujiro. But the way sex shapes Kazuo's character in Kengan Ashura speaks to me. Kazuo is an old character who is weak. Despite his weakness, Kazuo can do things that are expected of him because he puts himself in danger and fights for it. In these types of stories, fighting is depicted as a necessary part of life because nothing is given for free. Every time Oma uses the possessing spirit to clutch a narrow victory, he pays the price with his life. Even Kuroki Gensei has to sacrifice a limb or two to achieve victory. But it's a price they are willing to accept because they are strong. So, by writing a character like Kazuo, Kengan Ashura keeps the message alive because anyone can fight